Okay, so how many times have you seen or even done it yourself? Posted content, got loads of engagement, but got no money. I see it all the time. I see so many people that have got loads of reach, loads of impressions, loads of engagement, but when I speak to them, no money in the bank because the content that they're doing is not designed to convert people, it's designed to get likes. And look, likes is great, but until there's a day that you can walk into your bank and pay your mortgage with a like, then you're just playing. And if you want to play, that's cool. If you want to, this is probably not for you, this video, but if you want to play and get paid, then stick around because I'm going to share with you some frameworks that you can use to start creating content that's going to connect. It's going to move them closer to you so they feel aligned to you and ultimately pay you some money to work with you. So, let me show you how you do this. What we're going to do is split it into different buckets. So you've got different buckets with different types of content. So the first bucket is, we'll start in this one over here. And the idea is that we're going to cover 4 different types of content in each of these buckets. And you've got then a pot to go to create content that's designed to do a particular task. So this particular task, what we're looking at doing here, is, let me just move this across. This particular task is that we want to try and get this audience so when you're starting to connect with them, they trust you. That's ultimately what we're trying to do in this first section. So there's a few ways we're going to do that. The first one is it's talking about your story. Some people call this an origin story. A good friend of mine is a copywriter, CK. Fantastic copywriter. He talks about your origin story all the time. So again, to talk about your story is a fantastic place. You know, where you were, where you're now, what took you there, what stopped you from getting there originally. All that stuff is a great way to build trust because it shows people that you'll understand them because you've probably been through something that they're going through or what they've even been through as well. The next thing is to talk about, like, where's your magic? Where's your lair? Like Batman, he's got a cave. Superman, he's got the Fortress of Solitude. Where's your place to get energized? Where do you go to? Is it the gym? Is it out walking in the woods? Is it on a holiday? Like, where's the place where you go to recharge? Where do you get that kind of energy from? And talk about that stuff. Share it. It might be that you've got a great rig at home where you show your lights and your camera and your setup. Or it could be that you've got a really nice office space. It could be lots of different things. It could be the car. You know, maybe your car. Maybe you're the Lincoln lawyer and you want to drive around in your car and that's your jam. But again, it's a fantastic way for you to build connection and build trust with people because the more you share about you, the more they get to know you. And from that, they'll decide whether they'll like you or not. The other thing to talk about then is what you do on a day-by-day basis. So people want to... You might think it's boring, by the way. You might actually think that, like, no one's interested in me. And I guarantee you this, you are more interesting than you think you are. Even if you're sat at your desk just working day in, day out, there'll be things there that I guarantee people will find interesting. And if you just documented yourself, you just got a camera, one facing you, one behind you looking at what you're doing, if you can share that information, there will be people out there that find that stuff interesting. I promise you that. So talk about your days, what you're getting up to. Talk about your kryptonite. I don't know what's just happened then, my box just disappeared. There we go, it's back. Talk about what is your kryptonite. You talked about being Superman. Crypto, I have no idea what I've spelt there. Kryptonite. Talk about the thing that weakens you. If you like to go to the gym and the gym's the thing where you find your fortress of solitude, is it chocolate? Is it a beer? Is it wine? Is it like a McDonald's? Interestingly, I remember seeing on a fitness group that apparently back in the days, a Big Mac, I think it was a Big Mac. I think it was a McDonald's breakfast, like a double sausage breakfast. Back in the day, that was known as like one of the staples for bodybuilders because it had got the right balance of fats, proteins, carbs. I don't know how true that is, but I remember seeing it somewhere. Loads of people agreed with it, by the way, as well. So, yeah. Useless information there for you, by the way. But again, what is it that weakens you? What's your kryptonite? The next thing to talk about then is the people in your world. That could be staff. It could be family. It could be your partner. It could be co-workers, co-founders. Your business partner, it could be your pets, your dogs, your cats, it could be, your mascots. Introduce more people, more layers, build layers into your world as well, and people will connect with that when you start to share more about that stuff. Talk about places. places that you're going, places that you've been, places that you're working on, places of all these different things like that. Again, it might sound like, well, no one's going to be interested in that, John, but I promise you, people will be interested in the things that you find the most boring things. The things that you find most boring, people will 100% be interested in it. And again, it's a fantastic way for you to build trust with people. Talk about activities, what you're working on. Activities that you're working on right now could be, things that you do in your private life, if you want to share that. Could be activities that you're doing on a date. It might be networking. It might be all the different things that you're doing. But again, show people that you're real. You don't have to have this, ultimate persona, this highlight reel. Like, people don't want to buy a highlight reel. I think that a lot of the time when you think that you have to show off, and I think there's definitely a place to show off, because if you've achieved a lot of things, then other people would probably show off if they'd achieved it as well. But I think that it's about you being real. People, like, you don't want to be competing with your target audience, and I think that's something that can happen quite easily. Is if you're thinking all you need to do all the time is just brag, and the people that's wanting to get into to work with you, maybe they want that lifestyle, and all of a sudden, rather than you being someone that can help them, you become the competition. So I think that if you can show the real activities that you do on a day-to-day basis, again, it opens up the door. Talk about your work. Talk about what you are working on. Is there anything new that's coming? Is there a certain project that you're working on right now? Talk about the work that or people that's doing the same kind of work that inspire you. If you see somebody in your space, they've got a big audience, they've got the same kind of audience, and they're influential to you, and their work inspires you, talk about that as well. You probably see some of these videos where they'll have, in the corner of the screen, they'll have the phone. So in the corner of the screen, if you look like down here somewhere, there'll be like a picture of the phone, what they're looking at, and they'll be scrolling through it and either agreeing or disagreeing or whatever it is. Again, this can be part of your work. Like, I do this particular style of work, they're doing this way, I agree or disagree, whatever it is. It's just, again, it's content that can be used to build connection and trust with people. As we move down to this next section, and do both of them boxes there. So this next section really is about you trying to give clarity. So it's about you trying to show people that that you can help them. So it's adding value into their world. And so the first thing that we can do here is you can do things like build lists. And so let's say, for example, that let's say that you are offering a service as a fractional sales director. So you're going to go into a company and you're going to offer, fractional director as a salesperson in the business, helping with strategy and stuff. We could say, if I was a sales director of a new company right now, here's the 5 things that I'd do first. Or, if I just stepped into a new marketing role, here's the 3 things that we'd look at. Or, if you were my client right now, here is the top 10 things that we need to focus on to make sure you go from here to here in the quickest time possible. So build a list of the different things that you could do for people. Talk about that kind of stuff. Talk about mistakes. It could be your mistakes. Be a little bit humble. It could be your client's mistakes. It could be mistakes that you see all the time. One of the things that I see people doing all the time is this, when actually what they should be doing is this. It could be the mistake that I used to make was I'd get up in the morning and I'd brush my teeth and I'd go to the gym and then I'd come back and eat and then I'd brush my teeth. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but I'm giving you examples. The other thing that we can do is rant. Show that you are human, that things do annoy you, that you're not this complete Zen art warrior that's always kind of chill. There's things that's still going to rile you up because you're human. And that's totally fine as well, because, again, people get behind it and it shows that you've experienced it. I mean, I remember when I did a lot of life coaching training and stuff, there was, I think it was called Rich Litvin, and talked about, so it was a course that I did for Mind Valley, if you're familiar. It's really good, actually. And he said that you can never take a client deeper than you have been yourself. And I think it's just really interesting, isn't it? Is that if you are always kind of level, chilled, relaxed, it's difficult for you to take someone deeper than you've ever been. So, if things don't piss you off, rile you up, get you a little bit, then I don't know. I think that it's a really good way for you to be able to show people that I understand where you are, because I go through it as well. So you're not on your own, and You know, you might look like I've got all my shit figured out, but trust me, I lose my shit as well, just like the next person. So again, there's a really good way for you to talk about that. And then talk about your point of view. Like, what's the stuff that you feel passionate about? What's your opinions on things? Because, you know, there's this whole world right now where if you can be contrarian, you'll get attention. We've seen it happen loads and loads of times. Loads of times when you can start to be your true self. And I'll tell you this, like, I struggled with this because I had this belief that if I shared my opinions and thoughts on things, then I'd rub people up the wrong way and people wouldn't want to work with me. And actually, it's a really silly way of looking at it, really, because all that's going to do is potentially attract the wrong type of people to me as well. So by you sharing your points of view, your opinions, what it actually does is it does alienate people, but it alienates people that you're never going to work with anyway, like, because you're just never going to get on. And what it does do is it starts to magnetize the right type of people towards you. So don't hold back. Like, be the truest version of yourself. I remember one of the clients that I was working with, he said, John, I'm really scared that I'm going to get cancelled. And I'm like, dude, no one even knows you're visible just yet. Like, stop holding yourself back. Really go forward, make a mark, do the things that you believe in, and go for it and go really in on that. The next thing is to talk about the most frequently asked questions that you get. So when you take a new client on, go back over the last 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and document all the different questions that you get asked. Start making content around it. And especially now when, like, you've got like Instagram that's now getting indexed in Google, so you know you can start getting these keywords into the actual into the copy, so that you might even start showing up on Google from your Instagram stuff if you've got an Instagram, and that's part of your strategy as well. Talk about lessons that you've learned. You know, one of the things that I learned is this, and when I did this, it's this. And if you can try and tie a story to that, so a story with your lessons, a fantastic piece of content, because people can firstly connect to it, they can relate to it, and they can learn from it. It's a great way of doing this. Talk about a model. I'm going to skim through these a little bit quicker now so we don't get hung up too long. Talk about a model. So in the coaching world, there is a model called Grow. In the marketing world, there's a model called the flywheel, which is something that was coined, well, not originally, but it was coined by HubSpot, which is part of a strategy that I've built in the Thrive network. And Thrive, what we do is we focus on 3 areas. We attract, we engage, and we delight. And that's what we do with the flywheel. Attract the right kind of audience, engage with them, and then delight them, wow them, impress them, make them become your loyal is the word, raving fans. So we're going to move down again. The next section, oh no, I've missed one actually, the process. So if you have a particular process that you follow, for me, my process is I have a 5-step process when we work together. So we look at 5 things. We look at your map, which is a massive action plan, like where are you now, where do you want to be, and what steps we need to do to get you there. We look at the products, so do you know who's your ideal customer, and do you have a product that can really genuinely help them, and can they pay for it? Marketing, are you going to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time? Sales, do you have a process, and is it frictionless? Because let's face it, no one likes picking up a phone and cold call, or some people do. There's some weirdos out there, isn't there, that really thrives on picking a call up and speaking to strangers. It does work, by the way. It's a strategy that's probably just as good now. Conversions is low, but everything that's outreach is anyway. Cold outreach through email. Oh, a mouthful. That's hard. The conversions are low, but this stuff all works, and you've got to find the groove for you. What's the thing that works for you? Like, content is great, because the thing about marketing and content is that the better that you can market, the less you need to sell, or the easier it is to sell. And I used to think that sales was the most important thing. And I think that the thing with sales is sales can make you rich. You know, there's some very, very rich people that's got that wealth or they've got the money rather, because they've been good at selling. But the real trick is when you can market and reach the mass, then you become wealthy. And so if you can learn to get these messaging right, you can find a way to reach more people, help more people. Selling becomes a lot easier, it becomes a lot less intense, and it becomes more frictionless as well. I wouldn't say easy, because there's always a challenge, but it does become simple because you've got a process that you're going to follow. Cool, right, so what we've got so far is how you can connect and show people that you're the right choice and build trust. You've shown them that you know what you're talking about and you've added some value into their world. The next thing that we are looking at doing is basically then taking them to a place where you're going to prove to them further that you are experienced, because you've got something to back it up as well. So it's really just about you showing them confidence, I suppose. Building their confidence and showing them proof that you can do that. And I think there's a really good way of doing that, which is to create create some assets that you can use. So I don't know about you, but when I'm working with clients, and I'm sure this is the same for everybody, clients message you, they'll do it on WhatsApp, they'll do it on email, they might call you, they might text it to you, however it is, but they'll say loads of different things. Like I got one, in fact, I think I shared it. I can't share this screen actually, so you won't be able to see this, but one of the things that I shared actually onto my social media, where's it gone? Bear with. I'm just going to read it to you to show you what I mean, so it gives you a really good example. Here we go. Right, so this is the post right here. If you might not be able to read that, but I'll put it there. But I'm going to read it to you anyway. So this is a WhatsApp that I got from a client of mine. She's like, I owe you a pint. And she goes on to say, this week, the deal closer. So I built a little AI, custom AI chatbot, which I do for a lot of my clients. So like inside Thrive, for all the different programs and things that we're running, for most of them, there's a little AI chatbot that will help you to either create templates, create content, create posts, create messaging. And this particular one is called the deal closer. So what it helps you to do is, if you are stuck a little bit where you've got deals in the pipeline that's not moving forward, or people ghosting you, or you're still waiting for a response, or that next follow-up you're just a little bit uncertain about what to say, you plug the information into this this AI bot, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Ask you a few questions first just to see where you're at and check the temperature, but then what it'll do is it'll tell you exactly what you need to say next. And so this particular client's messaged, you might be able to see that if I'll do that. That one's for a thumbnail shot on here as well. But this is what they've said. So they've said, I owe you a pint. I owe you a pint. This week, the deal closer landed me a £550 deal closed on email with no call. A £700 deal closed with WhatsApp and one call guided by the system. And a meeting with an ideal client. And then it goes underneath to say also their partner, I'm not going to mention the name, is also using this to negotiate an upsell with the client. And then he's using one of the other chatbots, which is called the Perfect Client Finder. So he's doing that for some outreach as well. I've put that there, Perfect Client Finder. So these little tools really help. And if you can use these kind of things for the marketing of your stuff. So if you can use like these testimonials that you get coming through, testimonials, my word. If you can use like different testimonials that you get and weave them into your content that you're creating on a week-to-week basis. So have 3 different types of testimonials that you've got. Like I just showed you there, that's a screenshot. So use 3 different types of screenshot. I mean, if you got more, great, but if you aim for 3 and 3, 3 testimonials, 3 screenshots gives you a nice little bit of rotation, so you can keep on turning it around. Because you're not going to be sharing these every day. You're going to share one maybe like every week. And then the other 2 that I put at the bottom here is 2 case studies. And if you did that on like a video, so it could be, when this split screen, so you've got you at the top, your client at the bottom, or vice versa, whichever way around that goes. And rather than just having a chin wag, and I think that's what happens a lot of the time, is you'd end up just having a bit of a chin wag. you guide them through a process that gets them to open up. And if you do it right, it can align really, really well with your ideal clients' pain, frustrations, challenges, the things that they want, the things that they desire, the aspirations that they're trying to have, if you position and package it up in the right way as well. So that's a bunch of different ideas for you to be able to create content that's not just about getting engagement and likes, but actually pulling them into your world. So you start getting people messaging you saying, hey, I've been watching your stuff for a while, I've been reading your stuff for a while, and I'm wondering if you can help me. It sounds like you might be able to. And you get emails and text messages and DMs, and I get things like that all the time, because a lot of the time in social, there's a lot of lurkers. And in marketing, there's a lot of lurkers. And so when you get this bit right, people start coming to you instead of you having to chase them. And the way that you do it is you pick one of these. So you pick one of these from these different places here. And the idea is that you want to do it over, do it down here at the bottom. You want to try and do it so that you've got an 80-20 split. So 20% of the content that you share down here, this is action, by the way. This is action-based content. So 20% of the action type content that you're posting is saying things like, work with me. It could be things like, we've got a workshop or a webinar or something like that. Would you like to attend? It could be that you have a lead magnet. So, we've got this guide that helps this particular person. That's where it works quite well when it comes to testimonials and case studies and screenshots. It could be that you share this kind of stuff and you said, I've got a tool that does that. If you want me to send a copy, use a trigger word, put the word bombastic. I have no idea what I just said then. Put the word boomtastic. I have no idea what I'm saying. But you get the gist of it. Put a trigger word there. So I'll use words like, put the word grow, put the word clients, put the word, help, or anything that you want, which is a trigger word. Comment it or DM it to me and we'll send you this free tool over there. That could be for the lead magnet. Got really lost with my words then, didn't I, as well. So 20% of your content wants to be that kind of action-based content. The other 80% wants to be a mixture of the different things that we've just been talking about there. Talking about, your story, your lessons, your point of view, the case studies, the testimonials are all woven into this. Now, where you get really good at this is when you can blend the two together, and you can keep the top half of the story based on the different kind of quadrants that we've been talking about today, and you can sign it off with a call to action. And some of them call to actions are sometimes a PS. Some of them call to actions are sometimes for your information, an FYI. And if you can just tie the story together, it makes it more, it makes it flow a lot easier as well. So, hope that's useful for you. It makes a huge difference. It really helps you to create content in a way that, as I've said at the start, connects to people and doesn't just get loads of likes. I mean, we all want loads of likes. We all want loads and loads of likes. But until them likes, like I said, can pay the bills. If you can't walk into your bank with a like and pay your mortgage, then a like's not really got loads of weight for you, but we do want them. What we really want, though, is people to be raising their hands and saying, yeah, I'd like to work with yourself, I'd like some help. So yeah, that's it. Put it into practice, put it into work, make it happen. If you obviously enjoyed this, be really appreciative if you tell me what you liked about it, put a comment in there, like it, thumbs up, whatever you need to do. Subscribe to the channel. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do that. I'd massively appreciate it. Tag someone, share it with someone, tell friends about it. And other than that, if you want to find out more about what we do in Thrive and some of these templates and custom bots that we've built in this AI world that we now live in, that can really help you with content and sales and planning and all this kind of stuff as well, because that's what we do inside Thrive. We build it, like I said earlier, through a process. The process is we use the flywheel, which is attract, engage, and delight, and that's the framework, that's the model. The process is that we have 5 things that we work on. So we help you get a map, so where you are, where you want to be. We help you to make sure that you've got a product that's high in demand, that is easy to sell, hard to say no to. We show you how to market and get the right people. We show you how to sell, which is frictionless, so you don't have to pick up the phone and speak to people. A lot of the people that, certainly over the last couple of years, I'd say, most of my sales have been happening from me sending them a letter, like a Google document that tells them exactly what it is, and then they just buy. So I don't even have to speak to them on a call. So we talk about a frictionless sales process, and then we finish off with KPIs. So we track the right numbers. We're not talking about P&L and breaking things down that's just going to blow your mind, because I don't get turned on by that. I'm sure you don't. Maybe if you're an accountant, you probably do, or hopefully you do if you're an accountant. But we talk about the real core metrics that you need to track to grow your business and make a real dent and an impact, and ultimately build a business that thrives. Anyway, cool. Hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget, like, subscribe, tell someone else about it. See you next week.